It was meant to be a light-hearted night on the Graham Norton Show until Helen Mirren, known for her poise and blunt British wit, turned the couch into a courtroom. The unexpected target? Meghan Markle. Without flinching, Dame Mirren dropped a searing critique of Meghan's soon-to-flop Season 2 of With Love, the ex-royal's attempt at reinventing herself as a content mogul. "It's less storytelling and more self-worship," Mirren said, sending the audience into gasps and nervous laughter. "There's a difference between authenticity and addiction to attention. She hasn't learned it." The room fell quiet. Meghan wasn't even present, but by the end of the segment, she didn't need to be. Her name had become the punchline. This wasn't some tabloid jab or petty celebrity shade. Mirren, who has built a decades-long career grounded in genuine artistry, was calling out what many in the industry and the public have quietly whispered for months. Meghan's Netflix content is vanity draped in activism. After the lukewarm reception of With Love's first season plagued by accusations of being tone-deaf, overly polished, and devoid of substance, the announcement of a second season felt more like a stubborn attempt at relevance than an artistic endeavor. "If you strip the title and the platform, what are you left with?" Mirren asked rhetorically. "A glossy Instagram reel pretending to be television." What made this roast land harder was how calculated Meghan's project had seemed from the start. With Love was supposed to spotlight real stories of real people, but somehow each episode looped back to Meghan's brand, her pain, her enlightenment. Episode after episode turned the lens inward at a time when audiences wanted authenticity, not curated self-praise. Netflix execs had reportedly been growing uneasy about the direction of the show, with insiders leaking that Meghan ignored creative advice and instead micromanaged every frame like it was her personal memoir. And then came the critical backlash. Major review sites panned the show as soulless, emotionally manipulative, and too obsessed with optics. Season 2's trailer hasn't helped either. It leans even more heavily into vague motivational platitudes, self-congratulatory monologues, and blurry images of Meghan in minimalist beige outfits gazing thoughtfully into the distance. The public is no longer buying it. The illusion is crumbling. Helen Mirren didn't mince words because she didn't need to. She spoke a truth Hollywood circles have grown tired of dancing around. Meghan Markle's projects are failing not because of a vendetta, but because they are built on an unsteady foundation of self-promotion rather than creative integrity. "It's not courage to put yourself in every story," Mirren remarked. "It's narcissism, coming from a living legend who has earned accolades through roles that elevate storytelling, not self." The words hit like a gavel. Ironically, the one thing Meghan has always claimed to want control of her narrative is now slipping further from her hands. Instead of appearing as a boundary-breaking visionary, she's beginning to resemble the very institution she once escaped, calculated, out of touch, and consumed with image. The backlash from Mirren's statement has already stirred debates across social media, with many users praising her honesty. "Helen said what we're all thinking," wrote one commenter on X. "Meghan wants to be Oprah without putting in Oprah's years of work or humility." Others noted that Mirren's words may have officially marked the cultural pivot point where even seasoned professionals are no longer afraid to call out Meghan's missteps publicly. Meanwhile, Netflix's silence speaks volumes. No official statement has been made regarding Mirren's comments, nor has there been any attempt to defend With Love's second season. According to sources close to the streaming giant, internal discussions are already underway to reevaluate the promotional investment for Season 2. Translation: the company knows it's likely throwing money into a black hole of bad PR. And Meghan, true to form, she's reportedly shocked and deeply disappointed by the incident. But insiders say the Duchess has no intention of issuing a public response, opting instead for her usual strategy of silent detachment, followed by a carefully worded essay or podcast 6 months down the line painting herself as a misunderstood trailblazer. But the tide has changed. With respected figures like Helen Mirren leading the charge, silence won't shield Meghan from the truth anymore. In an era where audiences crave vulnerability and depth, Meghan's curated performances are beginning to wear thin. And if With Love Season 2 is anything like what Mirren described, a show about one woman's ego disguised as empathy, it won't just flop. It'll be the final nail in a brand that once claimed to stand for something real. It's a brutal truth that even Meghan's most loyal followers are beginning to confront. The Duchess-turned-producer may have overplayed her hand. What once sparked curiosity, her royal exit, her tell-all interviews, her promises of advocacy, has soured into a predictable loop of self-reference and selective storytelling. Season 2 of With Love, rather than evolving into something more daring or inclusive, appears poised to double down on the very flaws that earned it criticism in the first place. Behind the scenes, murmurs are growing louder. Netflix insiders reportedly warned her team that viewers want resonance, not reputation. But those words fell on deaf ears. Meghan, determined to steer every aspect of her brand, refused editorial pushback, insisting that the show reflect her vision, one that increasingly isolates her from the cultural zeitgeist. And now, with Helen Mirren's scathing takedown airing on national television, the facade is cracking. Not because the criticism came from the press or online trolls, but because it came from an industry icon who knows the difference between artistry and artifice. If Meghan continues down this path, Season 2 won't just be a creative misfire, it'll cement her place not as a changemaker, but as a cautionary tale in the age of performative fame.